The rationale behind this whole mall was the 1969 earthquake. The buildings from Courthouse Square down to Railroad Square were inspected and found that they were not safe and would not withstand another earthquake.
In order to complete this project, there were 22 historic buildings, 21 of which were demolished. This building was the last one. We decided that we would do an historical museum here with this building, and under that kind of agreement, the county transferred title to this building to the city of Santa Rosa at no cost.
We saw so many drawings and sketches of how you could build a shopping center around this building where it was previously, and every time it came to us we laughed and said, "You're kidding, it can't be done." And luckily it couldn't be done. Dan figured out how to move it, but that was really a process in itself.
Post office was one of those buildings that the city had deemed unsafe and structurally unsound and didn't meet code. So I said, well, you know, an option is to move the building. So anyway, here we go, and it's called How to Save an Old Post Office. And of course it's got its beautiful cast iron light fixtures, its limestone columns. We even had the architect's rendering of the building. And with that information, we prepare a National Register application. Now, one of the great preservation tools that the government uses is that you take the pieces and you save something from the building and you park it in a corner and say, this is how we've preserved that old building. And so here we are taking the steps off to preserve them for future generations. But wait, we have a plan. It's called a museum. And with that plan, we get some rooters, and we get some belly dancers. We get old cars. We get bands. You got to raise money to do a project like this. And more bands, and politicians, and construction workers, and timbers, and some steel beams, and a truck, some block and tackle, a place to pull it from. We cut holes in the bottom. We stack up the timbers and we put railroad tracks on top. We put rollers on the railroad tracks and shoes on the rollers that support the steel beams that hold up the building. And we move it about 900 feet. And here it goes, moving backwards in one piece through the night. What did Gates say, 18 inches a day? Sometimes slower. The building moves back and back, approaches Sears parking lot. Sears thanks us for coming, and onto the new site as we sit here today in that basement. And then we have a party for the local architects and anyone else who was sure it wasn't going to work. The building had just finished the steps. It had no electricity, had no water, no sewer, no facilities whatsoever. We brought in a generator for the lights. The caterer barbecued the meal in the vacant lot out here where the parking lot is. Conklin Brothers let us use their toilet facilities, and that was our party. And that's the museum.